welcome, welcome. Hey, the audio working? Yeah, I think we've got audio today. Hey, welcome to Filmmaker IQ live stream. I haven't been live streaming in a long time. It's been a while. Delsham, London, Prejean, how you doing? 24, 24. Absolutely. It's kind of funny. I just gave a couple weeks ago. I gave my lecture on the 24 frames a second. Actually, just frame rate in general in my class, and the department had said, "Hey, I gotta sit in and check in on your 24 your frame rate lecture, because it is quite a lecture." All right, so I put a purposely kind of a little incendiary, well, not incendiary, but a clickable title saying that Wicked is basically the chick version of Captain America Civil War. And I actually thought that when I went to see it last night on a whim. Well, I mean, I kind of wanted to see it. If I forgot it, I mean, I knew it was out, but I was kind of waiting to see if people were saying good things about it. Otherwise, I was not going to check it out. If it's like a common everyday, or a standard what do you call it? A typical kind of musical remake in the what do you call it? The vein of something like Into the Woods. I would have missed it, honestly, because Into the Woods was really kind of a slog to get through. I don't hate Into the Woods, but it didn't do any favors. But oh my gosh, Wicked is like a really tremendously good movie. It really really is, and I want to go through talk about it a little bit. This will be sort of spoilerish, but then again, it's one of those things where if you are familiar with the musical, you'll know where it ends because it is basically the first act of the musical. And even though I've never seen the musical, I've heard the music. I've read the book actually that it was based on, which is actually quite different than the musical itself. And I read the synopsises because I kind of wanted to understand what the musical was about. I just happened to never see the musical. But like in terms of how it works as basically a chick flick version of Captain America, I mean essentially it is the story of a friendship between Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch of the West, as she will be known later on in her life, and Glinda, who ends up becoming Glinda, who's the the sweet witch, the pretty fairy witch, right, that everyone loves. And so in that sense, it is like Captain America versus Iron Man. But they both have a mentor that ends up being sort of a villain at the very end, sort of very much like Robert Redford's character. They end up battling in the end, and to me, the very last scene, the final ultimate scene, the showdown at the very end of the first act of the musical, the showdown there, where she sings the very famous song "Defying Gravity." I'm sure if you even if you don't know the musical, you have probably heard it. Um, and she flies off into the sunset, and it's such a like Superman moment. It is so like I got those superhero chills when I watch a superhero movie that like lands, that really like sits with you, is the exact same result at the ending of Wicked. So let's talk a little bit about Wicked and how my thoughts about the film is. I guess I should go through a little bit of a synopsis for those that don't know. It is a musical. So just like the Joker, Folie Deux, or however you pronounce it, it is a musical. So if you don't like musicals, if you say, "Hey, I don't like musicals," you probably shouldn't see this movie. I mean, it is a full-blown musical. There's no hidden elements of the musical. Like, so my favorite musical of all time, movie musical of all time, is Chicago. I think Chicago is a brilliantly done movie. It uses the device of putting all the musical's numbers in a kind of a dream sequence. So it uses that as a way to hide the musical aspect of the movie, in that so it's still grounded in a reality, a base reality, but it's not the musical sort of can exist inside that base reality. This is not that movie. Wicked is definitely a all-out musical. People dance and sing. They break out in a song for I mean, for no reason. But there's the old famous Bob Fosse saying is that when words are not enough to express an emotion, you sing, and when you song is not enough to express the emotion, you dance, and that's what the musical. So to me, like none of the songs felt like stop the story. We're having a song because the actual original IP, the songs in the original are really just they drive the story forward. Um, so the story starts off with the ending. The end of the we start at the very end of the story where the Wicked Witch is dead. Okay, Dorothy has vanquished the Wicked Witch, and everybody's celebrating in Munchkin Land. And then the good Glinda, the Good Witch, comes down and like she's dead, everybody, and everyone's cheering. And there was like no one mourns the wicked. The wicked are awful people. And then one Munchkin will say, "Hey, didn't you know her? Weren't you her friend at one time?" She's like, "Yes." So she recalls back the time when she was a young student arriving at Shiz University, which is like sort of like the Hogwarts of Oz, and she is there to start her career learning magic. And then Elphaba, who is a green witch, who is a green person who has magical powers, is there to escort her sister Nella Rose, or Nessie Rose, Nessa Rose, who's in a wheelchair, and it's kind of her fault that she was in a wheelchair. Anyhow, so through magic, through sort of things, they are forced. Elphaba, like they realize she has magical powers, so they bring her on board to the classroom, to the class. The head magician sorceress brings her aboard, invites her to be part of Shiz, and she ends up rooming with Galinda, and then of course sparks fly because Galinda is the super nice witch who's like everything's pretty and proper. She's basically like legally blonde. So legally blonde in the Oz world is what that works out to. And then Elphaba is sort of like she's like the outcast. All right, she's the green skinned person that everyone's disgusted by when they see her. They shock and horror at her. So she's lived her whole life feeling like unloved. Right, and obviously at the very beginning, Glinda and Elphaba, like they butt heads really badly all the way through. Then somehow something happens, and Glinda, like she manages to, in a way, to be in a selfish way to do something nice for her sister, and slowly a friendship builds between the two, and then but the underlying story is the animals who are in the who are part of Oz. At one point, all the animals could talk. Right, they were all talking people, and basically their ability to talk starts to disappear, and there's one final a ram goat who teaches at this university, a goat professor. He's played by Peter Dinklage by chance, and he starts losing his voice, and then eventually there's an order comes down from Oz saying that no, there are no more. We're not allowed. Animals are no longer allowed to be teachers in university. So then it starts a whole thing where she has to go to Oz to kind of plead for Oz. And I mean, I'm going to follow through the rest of the story just because I mean it is a sort of a spoiler if you haven't known it. I think it doesn't matter what you know. I mean, I knew the story going into it. It didn't kind of diminish the story, but Oz is the one behind it, and he basically is trying to use the magical powers of Elphaba to become even more powerful himself, because he's not really magical, and we know that from the Wizard of Oz, the original 1939 movie. But he's not really powerful, so he's looking for someone who has magical powers that he can kind of use to shore up his own power, and that's when Elphaba realizes she's being like used, and she has to make a decision to become her own powerful person, and that which ends in that song Defying Gravity, which my god is a good. So that's the plot breakdown. So let's talk about really why I think this movie works so well, because it's there's a term in filmmaking called like a four corner, right? And I'm trying to remember the four corners. I have to look it up. Sorry, I'm just going to look it up real quick. Four corner movie. So basically what it's saying is let's see, four corners. No, that's not, I don't. Four corners movie terminology. Let's see if we can find what those four corners are. Terminology. I think it means four quadrant. Sorry, four quadrant movie. Male, so it will attract males over 25, females over 25, male under 25, female under 25. Now, okay, I think males can get into this movie because there is a lot of there's nothing like a male couldn't enjoy in this movie. Honestly, it's a lot of humor. I think the performances. I think Ariana Grande kind of steals the show because she is so like enduringly lovable in the character of Glinda. Like I said, she is the Legally Blonde of Oz. She is like, well, maybe, well, she's legally blonde, but she's not. She doesn't have the legal mindset of Legally Blonde. She's superficial. She's incredibly like narcissistic, but she's always like flipping her hair and making herself look pretty and all that. And she's always like going out of her way to little touches here and there of like putting in that little like, look at me, I'm so pretty kind of thing. And she just does a great job with it. I think the guy that plays Elphaba, the name just escapes me right now. Here she is, Cynthia Erivo. She's good. I think the best asset is her voice is really really good. She plays a lot of like that little bit of like off standoffishness. So she's a very good counter to Ariana Grande, who's just way overly, cutesy, feminine. I thought it was cool seeing Jonathan Bailey, who is the Viscount from Bridgerton, who we talked about in a couple episodes, a couple live streams ago. We talked about it's kind of seemed fun to see him turn up, and I was kind of expecting a Chris Pine character, like someone's there, such a dashing, young, good-looking guy, and I'm glad like they pulled Jonathan Bailey from it. Who else is? Oh, and the Wizard of Oz is played by Jeff Goldblum, which is honestly perfect casting. Michelle Yeoh is a madam. Bowen Yang is a background character. He's the Asian guy that's always comes off very effeminate. But it's interesting to see him in the background of that character because I mean, it is directed by I believe an Asian man, John Chu. So he has a lot of Asians involved, which is I think pretty cool. So he made Crazy Rich Asians. Oh, I did not know that. Well, there you go. That's why. Yeah, great. He went from Crazy Rich Asians to Wicked. Nice move. He did Step Up to the Streets, Into the Heights. He did Into the Heights. Okay, I did not care for Into the Heights as much, but Wicked was well done. I mean, I'm probably will be seeing Wicked again. I'm absolutely probably going to see it again. But so what was I saying? So I forget where I think I was going with that. Oh, 4 quadrant movies. So for men over 25, I don't think there's any reason why a man can't go see this movie. Like I said, it's a chick flick for Captain America: Civil War. In that essence, it's the same plot kind of devices, and even the ending is very much like a superhero ending. But there's nothing like overtly like that men can't get. Okay, so in that sense, it men can go with their girlfriends, can go with their sisters, can go with their daughters, and they'll have a good time. I think they will have a good time as long as they don't hate musicals. If you hate musicals, don't see it. Don't go see a movie that is a musical and you say I hate musicals, then don't go see this movie. It's not made for you. Just don't go see it. Don't waste your time. But if you're okay with musicals, or if you love musicals like this guy right here, then it's probably the best musical adaptation, honestly, since Chicago. Like I would put this up there as I can't think of a single other musical movie that I thought was as well done as this movie. It is so stinking well done. So yeah, men over 25, women over 25, everybody, all women, period. We just love this movie. I sat in front. I saw a 9 o'clock screening. When the movie ended, the women behind me were crying. They loved the movie so much. And then the guy behind me who hadn't seen the musical before, and he said, "Oh, that was really, really good." So, I mean, I think women will just absolutely eat it up. As far as under 25, yeah. Like, all theater kids, absolutely, will love this movie. And they will see this multiple times, and they will have their Christmas screening where they will have a sing-along. And I might go to that one. I don't know. That might be kind of fun to just do the sing-along version. Because, I know, so I've never seen the musical myself. I've never seen it. However, I have listened to the album, like, to the point where I have it memorized. I mean, it's ingrained in my brain. I've just never seen the musical. I just have the album in my head. So all the songs were done well. They were done well. The mixes were good, and the performances were. Here's the thing, they were good. That's what's so exciting. Like, they were really good. So you had none of this casting for casting's sake. I mean, except Jeff Goldblum. But the Jeff Goldblum character, Wizard of Oz, okay, he doesn't have a big giant song. On the Broadway show, he's played by Joel Grey. I mean, Joel Grey's not known for being an amazing singer. So Jeff Goldblum as the Oz is like, perfect. He just has to be himself, and he is the freaking Wizard of Oz. It's amazing. Um, I think Jonathan Bailey as the Fiero worked perfectly. He is such a that mother effer is such a good looking cat. I can't stand him sometimes. So, there's just some guys that just look so freaking good. They look effortlessly good. It's just ridiculous. Anyhow, yeah, no, I mean, so to be honest, like going into the movie, everyone's a little bit hesitant about like, okay, I remember seeing the trailer thinking, well, I'll give it a shot, but it didn't look great. It looked like Into the Woods. Okay, I'll be perfectly frank. Into the Woods is a very disappointing movie musical. The movie musical itself is very good. I've played it. Uh, I think have I played it more than once? I think I only played it once. Well, once, a run of it. I pretty sure played French horn on it. Um, I've seen it multiple times. It's a good musical. It really is. It depends a lot on how it's done, obviously. But the movie just like they just didn't get the musical. Like they didn't get it. And what happens is a lot of the characters they cut out parts, and then they make parts like less. They cut out songs, and they make the baker's wife has an affair in the musical, and then she gets killed. Spoiler. But for some reason in the musical in the movie she doesn't have an affair. I think they're trying to tone it down a little bit because it's more of a Disney movie. They tone it down a little bit and also just make it a little less, or try to streamline some of the morals and ethics of the film. Although I think the whole point of Into the Woods was to be morally more ambiguous, right? Because the ending of the play, there's a song that goes, "Someone is on your side, someone is not." So it's sort of saying like there's the two different things. Hello, Bruin Flight, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. So, here, I'll just throw you up on there. So, you derailed me. Just kidding. so, so Into the Woods was very disappointing. It was a very disappointing movie musical. So when I was seeing the trailers, it's like, eh. And then the whole controversy over oh, you're in bed with a dizzy spell. I'm sorry. Well, hopefully my camera movement will make it. This seems like it's moving a lot on me here. Hopefully that will make you a little sick from my auto camera movement. Uh, there's a whole like controversy over Cynthia Erivo where they took the poster of her and some fan remade the poster where it's just her lips, which kind of matches the Broadway play, and she got all butthurt over it. And yeah, that was bad look. Like that was just a fan edit. They weren't trying to hide you. They weren't trying to like erase you. They were just trying to make something that looked like the original poster. Okay, so that sucked. And then there's because there's a bit of a culture war going on with like the wokeness stuff, and there's this look. Wicked's been around before wokeness was a thing, right? Wicked. This storyline's been, it's been a play since like the early 2000s. When did the play come out? I've got to find this out here. Let's see here. So first of all, it's a 1995 novel, and then let's see, the musical Wicked came out in 2003. So it's early 2000s, right? So it's not like there's not a wokeness, but everything gets injected with wokeness. And because you're doing a musical, and because this is a fantasy musical, you've got to obviously you want to include as much diversity. What I find funny, what I found interesting about the diversity. So I mean, they go out of their way to be diverse, which is also often, of course, it's a good thing, especially for a mythical, world of fantasy. Sure, make it a super diverse. But the funny thing is, it's a super diverse cast. Okay, but then here comes Cynthia Erivo as a green witch, and everyone's like, "Oh my God! She's not the right kind of diverse," right? So I think, oh, my camera's just keeps following me. So it's interesting. Like everybody's got their diversity, but not the right kind of diversity. No, if you're green, that's not the right kind of diversity. We can't take that. So, but I think that enriches it. So I think that's makes it more interesting, right? And like the character, the character of what's the Bowen Yang, which I'm not the biggest fan of Bowen Yang because I feel like he just plays like excessively gay all the time. Like he looks mean Asian gay to me all the time. But uh, I don't know what was I gonna say. He's definitely comes off like a theater kid, right? He comes off as a really like a like a mean theater kid, cliquish, very cliquish theater kid. Him and the girl that's the other friend of Ariana Grande, and they're very like sycophants to Galinda, right? But it's sort of a kind of an interesting thing to see the bullies in the movie. The people that are the bullies are the theater kids, are sort of the gender queer, theater kids are the bullies in this movie. And to me, that message is more of no, everybody can be bully, everybody can be a bully, and I like that approach to it. I mean, I think that's what I hate. I hate when everything's pushed on one side, right? Like bullies always have to be a certain kind of bully. But in this movie, you get a sense there's bullying or there's antisocial behavior that happens on all sorts of sides. And I like the message of the movie. And I don't know, and there's a couple great little moments with both the character of Elphaba who has never had like love, never been shown kindness, right? And there are times when she gets shown kindness. And I mean, there's a few moments where she is given kindness, and then Galinda finally does find a way to befriend her, and it's a beautiful moment. I mean, they stop the movie, and they almost stop the movie, and there's a scene where like Galinda finally is like, because Galinda's been mean to her, like her the spoiler I guess, but there's the origins of the black hat, the Black Wicked Witch hat it was actually something that Galinda's grandmother made, and she's like, these are the most awful, ugly things, and then Bowen Yang's like, ew, what is this, and they all hate this hat, but she gives the hat to her and says she looks good in it, and oh my gosh, like but okay, so she's mean to her, but then she comes to this what's called the Oz Dust Ballroom, and it's like a big club. And she shows up, and everybody's just like mocking, "Oh my God!" And she starts dancing by herself. But then Galinda kind of sees like she's dancing by herself, and she's got uh, her own motivation to do it. And then she starts dancing with her, and they're kind of matching. And it's just a beautiful moment. It's such a beautiful moment between these two, and then like that's the point where she finally like kind of gets her, and it's such a great moment. It's so good. I mean, it's like everything that we've wanted done right in a movie musical. Like, you know, the dancing's all great. The choreography's clever. The camera direction is fantastic. The set design, and the elements, the vision props and all that stuff, is so good. It's so good. So anyhow, I was gonna say yeah, the relationship between Galinda and Elphaba is really 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 well done. So I think Ariana Grande just sort of steals the scene slightly. I think Cynthia Erivo definitely brings the gravitas, and her vocals are incredible. Like her vocals are perfect. Ariana Grande did a great job too. Her sopranos are just soprano voice are just soaring. It's really, like I'm telling you, that's the thing. We've had to live with. You guys don't realize this, all right? As a musical lover who performs in musicals and does stuff like this, you don't realize that, like, and I don't be mean to her. What's her name? Anna. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean to Anna Kendrick, but Anna Kendrick is a fine singer. She's just not a stellar singer. Okay, and gosh, I don't want to be mean to Anna Kendrick, but like, like movie musicals have been stuck in this frame where like, oh, we need a movie musical. Let's get Anna Kendrick to sing the starring role. But Anna Kendrick isn't a powerhouse singer. She's fine. Yes, she has Broadway experience, but she's just an okay singer. Well, okay professional singer. Okay, she's obviously better than me. I am not even a good singer. Anna Kendrick is an oak is a good, serviceable, professional level singer, but she is not Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia Erivo, who I mean, isn't well known. Cynthia Erivo, what did she do before? She played Harriet. Okay, she's done a couple things. Bad Times at El Royale, Pinocchio. Okay, so she's been doing some stuff, but she's got some chops. Man, she's got some serious chops. And Ariana Grande, obviously from a musical background, right? You finally got some like good singers, and we got away from that stupid idea that what's his face had for Les Miserables. Oh my God, that Les Miserables was just the was like that's one of those. Les Miserables is one of those things where it's like you fool me once, you never fool me again. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, never going to be fooled again. That's the George Bush quote. But yeah, I remember Les Miserables. Oh, they're singing on set. Wow, they're going to sing on set, which bring acting to it. No, it's going to be nasty. Les Miserables is just like the worst movie musical probably ever made. Maybe besides the one that Peter Bogdanovich made, and that we also had people sing live. It just doesn't work at all. But anyhow, but yeah, no, we had some like the performances were actually good, and the audio mix was actually good. I remember like listening to. So I'm going back to talking about like Johnny Depp's Sweeney Todd, and that mix was just rotten. Like it was so bad because like Helen Bonham Carter sings a pitter patter song, and you can't understand what the hell she's talking about because her voice is kind of like she kind of slurs her words because she has that little bit of a Cockney accent or whatever you want to call it. She has a little bit of accent, and then on top of that, the words are like mixed slightly under the music, and it's just awful. But here, the music is perfect. Like everything, you can hear all the lyrics. Everything comes off nice and clear. Everything's in tune. Everything's beautifully done. There's a lot of as a person that has the score memorized, there's a lot of little tiny articulations that are throughout that I know from the musical. When I hear them do it, I'm like, oh, they get it. They're not trying to do something completely different. They actually get it. So the other thing I guess I wanted to say was, how do you take a movie musical or musical, which is about a 2.5 hour stage play, and you only take half of that and you stretch it out to a 2.5 hour movie? And to be honest, they did a great job. I think so. I think what makes the ability to stretch out certain elements to make certain scenes like just land better. I think musicals can have a tendency to rush through stuff. I think I'll regale you with one of my memories. Is I did a version of and if I, sorry, apologies for anybody that's watching it that did it. I did a version of Little Mermaid, and there was an Ursula character, and they had like 60 or 32 bars of music timed out for her speech, and she got through it in like 16 measures, and it says, "Can you slow down your speech?" It's like, no, it doesn't feel right. I need to get through it really quickly. I need to get through the speech really quickly. And I remember sitting in the orchestra pit like, no. Like you if it's written to be 32 bars, you should be able to deliver the speech in 32 bars. Slow down your speech. It doesn't need to be happening that fast. And so I think musicals tend, I think, to not let certain scenes breathe, right? Because you only have 2.5 hours, and oftentimes a musical, The first act is mostly music. The second act is mostly story, and they tend to sort of push the gas a little bit on the musical, and a lot of times too, people that are not like professional that do this their entire life, even like the semi-pro where we do it for like 3 weeks at a time, like you tend to want to just get through it quickly, right? But in a movie, we can have like that moment I was talking about where we have Galinda and Elphaba finally seeing each other for the first time. I think that scene probably takes like 3 to 4 minutes to go through. It breathes, it sits. Whereas in a musical, they probably have to just do it in like 32 bars. So there's a lot of this in the movie that allows breath, allows things to just be. And as a result, also, I believe that the world building in this movie is just astounding. Like, like Oz feels like a real place. I mean, it's elements of like of Harry Potter, Hogsworth, or uh, there's elements of that. There's elements of Lord of the Rings, fantasy elements, but it's also friendly enough for children. It's not super dark, right? But there's so much kind of whimsy and fun to be had, and the visuals, the like I said, set design, all that stuff is so well done, so over the top, or not over the top, so full, okay, that that you can just kind of get lost in it. And because they stretch it out, they make it a they make the whole first act longer than the entire stage musical. I really get a sense that this is a full story. I mean, if I, it really does work really well, and I'm really excited. I'll definitely see it again. Bullet Silence, how you doing? You said, hope you're well. Can't stay for the chat in the evening. Just want to say hello. Catch you on the next one. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't been on a long. I've been doing a lot of work on my backyard, and I've been doing like this today. I was doing a lot of backyard work, and I decided to just cut it off about 2 o'clock and come in here and do this because I saw Wicked last night. I mean, I actually had something to talk about. Sometimes I feel like I don't have anything to talk about, so I don't come on. I should just come on anyway. But anyhow, yeah, yeah, I'd say if you like musicals, definitely go see Wicked. If you don't like musicals, don't see Wicked because you're not gonna. Even if you don't like it, you're not gonna like it. So don't see it. It's just not worth your time. But yeah, Glinda the Good and Cynthia was Elphaba Thorpe. Yeah, very good movie. Let's see. I'm just reading some of the Wikipedia here. So principal photography began on December 22nd, or December 2022 in England, disrupted by 23 to the SAG-AFTRA strikes, concluded in January, concluded this year in January. Wow. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait for the second half of the movie. So I guess the second half of the movie will cover really when Dorothy shows up to the or at least we'll cover at least when Dorothy. I think what happens to Fiero, and again, spoilers. I think Fiero gets turned into, I want to say the scarecrow because he doesn't have a brain, kind of a thing. Yeah. So anyhow, super excited about the second half of the movie. Okay, so what's going on, chat? We got 15 concurrent viewers. What's going on? Um, Throw me some questions, anything, ask me anything if you want. I'll continue talking about other stuff. How long have I been on? I've been on for, no, come on. I haven't been on for 40 minutes. Really? Wow. I literally talked for 40 minutes about this movie? Oh, wow. Very, well, I'm surprised my ability to do that. So I just wrapped up. Next week is Thanksgiving, so I do not have a class next Thursday or Friday. So I'm cleared off of that. I got one more week of classes until finals, and then we are on to our Christmas break. So things will kind of slow down a little bit. I've been overwhelmed. I just been feeling overwhelmed. It's been a tough, long year. I got a big giant Christmas parade coming up. We call it Winterfest Parade coming up in the first week of December. So you probably won't see me on that week. weekend. Then we've got a trip out to Merced to do a project, so it's a 6-hour drive. We'll be leaving on Monday, coming back on Tuesday. The week of that parade, so the week after Thanksgiving is gonna be very very hectic. I mean, I got a couple. Well, I do have one shoot lined up on next week, mostly editing, and I've got to prep some stuff. A neighbor of mine was put out a smoker on the driveway, and I ended up picking it up, and I have been on a tear smoking up my meats. Just call me a Mr. Smoker. I love. I'm really enjoying smoking meats, and so tonight, actually, in about, well, let's see, I see 4:30 is when I should probably kick it off. I needed to smoke some chicken thighs for our movie night tonight. I think we're gonna watch. Well, we don't know what we're going. So every Saturday we get together at a friend's house and we watch very odd movies, to say the least. We Last week we watched a movie called Death Spa. I think it's called Death Spa. Let me look it up real quick. Death Spa. Yeah, we watched Death Spa, 1988. Which, by the way, if you are a if you are in France, I believe the movie is called Witch Bitch. So, Death Spa, I'll just read the storyline to you, is Michael's health club is besieged by a series of terrible murders involving killer saunas and other grisly devices. Michael's wife killed herself a while before, and her brother holds Michael responsible. Michael needs to stop the bloodshed before he loses all his clients. I mean, it's even weirder than that. It's such a weird movie. I mean, so we watch basically B movies that are, we try to find ones that are so bad they're good, kind of a situation, and we've definitely had quite a few successes. We might watch Aerobicide today. We're on kind of a health club kick, so Aerobicide. I'm not kidding. That's the name of the movie, Aerobicide. I won't show you the trailer because every time I show a trailer, it gets like super thing. So I've been smoking meats. So you can call me Mr. Smoky, as Gisli Gislason says. All right. So I smoked a small brisket last week, and unfortunately I ran out of pellets. So it's a pellet smoker. And I ran out of pellets while I was smoking it, so it didn't quite finish to the temperature I wanted to. So I had to pull it out and put it in the oven and finish it off to 195. Like brisket, you really have to get it to 195. You can't really make a rare brisket because rare brisket is just tough. Like you really, really need it to get it high up there. Faces of Zack, great. What are you talking about, Plotbot? Faces of Zack. There you go. Or was that what Death Spa? I don't know. Anyhow. So yeah, I'm gonna smoke some chicken thighs. I always like smoking chicken thighs. So what I do is I get chicken thighs at the store, and the great thing about chicken thighs is they're not, you can get them for like $3 or $10 for like a big pack of them, right? And then I usually put like this Lawson's jerk seasoning. So it's like Caribbean jerk. So it's like pineapple and all the different tropical flavors, and so it's like Caribbean jerk, right? I let it sit, so right now it's sitting marinating in that. I'll pop them into I've never done this before, but I used to cook them in the oven, but I want to try the smoker. I'll pop it into the smoker at 225. I run it for an hour and a half to 2 hours or so, till the internal gets about 150 degrees, and that I think will be good eats. That will definitely be good eats. Oh, my friend Claire saw the movie Wicked 2. She loved it too. We'll have to talk about that. Hopefully she goes tonight. We'll compare notes on that movie because it was just fun de lion. The Black Eyed Club. I'm not sure what that is. So, all right. Well, any other questions or comments on today's chill stream? Wicked is a chick flick for men. I know I haven't been streaming a lot, so some of these streams are not getting quite as are not getting the a lot of the not a regular streaming anymore. I mean, that should change. I really do hope to kind of come back to do some more filmmaker IQ material. It's just a matter of finding the time to do things and just finding the peace to do these things. So, I'm excited to. Well, I'm excited moving forward to put things together again. It's been a wild year, to be really honest. It's been a super, super wild year. and I have made a lot of changes right now. Okay, some news too. My backyard, I cleared off the big grapevines I had, so I just heard on Friday that the city had given small notes on the permit process, small minor notes, and they just need to submit some minor changes, and then we should have the permit in hand within pretty soon. So groundbreaking for the new studio might happen maybe in 2024. That might happen. So hopefully they can start working on it. It might start off 2025 like in the process of actually building out this little studio. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. Hey, Thomas Hines. Yeah, thank you for the permit. The permit process has lasted literally 2.5 months, 3 months. It's been annoying. It's one of those things too. So actually, it's the day before election day, and my I was at City Hall dropping off my ballot, and the I got a text or email from my builder, my contractor. He says, "Oh yeah, no, I'm going to City Hall today to see what's going on." And he sent me a message later. He said, "Yeah, apparently the permit just sat in a file and just got forgotten about for a long time." It's like, of course, of course. This is, I mean, people, not to get all political, but like people think that like politics are, they think that there's all these forces in the government that are very highly tuned. They basically think everything in government's like a Tom Clancy novel. You ever read a Tom Clancy novel? Like every character in a Tom Clancy novel just gives you like some sort of what do you call it? They gives you Tom Clancy novels makes every in a Tom Clancy novel every character is like he graduated top of his class from West Point, and this guy he graduated top of his class from NYU. He graduated at 17 years old he was running the fifth largest bank in South America. Every character in a Tom Clancy movie is like so gosh darn like advanced and like and such a smart individual being, and nobody in government is like that. Thomas Hines says, I work for a government agency and the things we do are not very efficient. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He says, I come from the private sector and the whole process drives me nuts. Yeah, and I do a lot of work for cities, and I like working for cities because oftentimes they just pay you. Well, it takes you a while to get paid, but you get paid. But like uh, governments are not, you know, they take their time doing stuff. They just take their time. You know, they just take their time. So if we can get some more efficiency in government, let's hope we have that. But who knows? I believe the term is competency porn. I wish. Oh, I get you. Competency porn is like the Tom Clancy novel. Yeah, yeah. He graduated top of his class from West Point. He's got 17 medals and 4 Purple Hearts and served in this thing, and he's working this desk job. You know, like everybody in a Tom Clancy novel is just so dang competent. It's like no, the real world does not work like that. Most people are just like middling managers who just collect a paycheck and leave at the end of the day. So not to bemoan people that are middling managers, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. That's what a lot of people are kind of space fillers, and to some extent, that's okay, right? I mean, I don't know, I don't know. So not to. Here's what I heard. Here's what I just tell you what I heard. I have students that tell me that I teach an intro to video class, and I try my best to deliver content that is interesting. And you mean Joe isn't a world leader, ISO Facker? Oh, Joe. Which Joe are you talking about? Are you talking about my friend Joe? Uh, um, oh yeah. So I was saying, I teach a video class, and one of my students also takes a photography class. And boy, they told me that their photography teacher is awful. So like if you take my video intro to video class, it's basically a live version of a lot of my videos is what you're getting from me. It's like I kind of talk you through like a mix of some of the contents I've covered online, and then you apply it in a format that fits, the class timeline, right? But man, I heard from one of my students that took the photography class, like the photography class, that teacher just literally is like, okay, welcome to photography class. We're gonna watch this video. Click and watch the video. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna watch another video. Click. And he doesn't actually teach. He just shows you videos. And like, oh man, oh man. So yeah, I mean, like, and sometimes I feel bad because like I right now I've been so this year this fall I've been so busy that I really haven't had a whole lot of time to develop new stuff for my class. Um, but I've had like the best class, that I've had. So yeah, I'm not that dude though. Your friend is probably more worthy than any Joe I would know. I don't know. I don't think I would trust my friend Joe to run the world. I don't think he'd trust himself. So anyhow, so yeah, that's I don't know where I'm going with all that. Are the college students or high school? So I teach college. So some of them are basic. I mean, the thing is like the the line between high school and college students, because I teach a junior college. I mean, a lot of them it is high school. It's like extended high school. High school part D, right? So a lot of them are high schoolers. The student I was talking about is actually a little bit older than me. So the oldest student I've had in my class was like a 77-year-old Croatian man, and he was fun. He was fun to talk to. Like he would talk about film and shooting on film and all that. But he was trying to learn digital, and that's why he took the class. And it was cool to see him. The youngest I've had, are like probably 17, 18 years old. Um, yeah, it's fun. It's a fun class. I really like teaching. This particular quarter was really fun. I had one student come up to me. It's kind of funny. He's like, he has actually the highest grade in the class. It's kind of ironic. He has the highest grade in the class. It's like a 97 or 98, and he says, "Hey, professor, would I still pass the class if I didn't turn in the final?" And I'm like, "Why would you not want to turn in the final? The final is create a documentary, create some sort of documentary, right?" And so he was saying like, "I have a 97. If I don't do the final, will I pass the class?" I'm like, "Why would you not want to do it? Like, what's the point of this class if you don't do the work? I mean, that's the fun. The whole point of the class is to do the work. Not like it's going to be painful." So I think what eventually happened was he had like an idea for it he wasn't excited about. He had another idea he wasn't excited about. I think I found an idea that he's really excited about, which is about gaming. And I'm like, he's like, "Can I make a documentary about like motivational action in gaming?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, you can. Of course you can, dude. I want you to make something that you're excited about. Like if you're interested in gaming and you want to make, because believe me, there is an industry for video production and gaming. I don't know if you know this, guys. If you guys on YouTube realize this, there's actually a whole community of people that are interested in gaming that like to watch videos about gaming. So yeah, of course I want to encourage students to do work that excites them, right? Like I'm not going to have them like I, that's a, so there's three teachers that teach this class, the intro to video class, and my department head is one of the teachers. I am a teacher, and there's another teacher, and my department head said, "I want you all to teach it the way you want to teach it. I don't want them all to be cookie cutter exactly the same. I mean, they have the same basic layout. We all have the same projects we do, but I want you to teach it differently." So the thing is, I teach it. It's broken into three sections. The first one is an editing project. The second one is a document or a interview project, and the third one is a documentary. And the other teachers have pre-shot footage for the interview. I am the only teacher that forces them to shoot their own interviews because I believe why make them work with footage that's already professionally shot? Like that's an editing job. Like let them shoot their own, and I don't care if they make mistakes. I want them to make mistakes. Like I want them to make mistakes because right now is the time to make mistakes. I mean, you don't want to make mistakes when you're, you know, finishing your like project 2 should be hard. Project 2 should be like should kick your butt and you should say, "Shoot, I really need to do this better." Because project 3 is like your second chance. All right. So anyhow, Thomas says you don't learn by you don't learn by not doing assignments with photography. It's absolutely. So we're talking about doing a cinematography class. So everyone's excited about a cinematography class, and I'm excited about it too. But my philosophy with cinematography class is literally you will shoot every week, and you will turn in a project every week. I think that's the only way to do a cinematography class. Like I could lecture about cinematography for until I'm blue in the face. It doesn't matter unless you go out there and you shoot all the time. And I'm going to make it even easier. You're going to shoot with your cell phone for some of them, or all of them. For all I care, you can shoot any. You can shoot on your cell phone. You can shoot on a DSLR, on a mirrorless or whatever you have. You can shoot on a GoPro. I don't care. You got to shoot something every single week and turn something in every single week. That's my philosophy going into that class. Like all the stuff I'm going to teach you, all the book stuff, doesn't matter. It's the practice, and that's the only thing that's gonna. Because the reason why they wanted to do a cinematography class, we were graduating students that really weren't very good at shooting. So we wanted them. We want a class that gives them something to like to shoot, and that would be my approach. Shoot, 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 shoot. Constant, 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 constant shooting. I want them to be sick of it by the end of end of the quarter, end of the semester. Like every week, I really do. Every week, turn in a video, turn in a video, turn in a video. I kind of wish I was around during the studio system because can you imagine working at an old timey golden era golden age studio where basically as a cinematographer you'd be working a movie for a week, you'd wrap it, and then Monday you start another movie, and you just wrap it, and Monday you start the next movie, and so you're constantly practicing, constantly. That's how you get good. That's how you get super good, is to constantly practice it. Anyhow, I did a video for one of my business classes, a VHS shot by me, starring me, edited by me, music by me, and the titles. Well, I used a Timex Sinclair 2068 computer. It was fun. That's pretty much everything I do with Filmmaker IQ, although I don't do them in VHS anymore. At least I don't. I feel comfortable to make mistakes when someone knows better is present. There you go. That's a good point. I love that point. Yeah. And I think part of what I do, like, and I was kind of going, I felt good about encouraging this kid because, like, this kid literally told me, I don't want to make, I don't want to, I want to make my final. But I think we figured out something that he could get excited about and making, and that's what I want him to make. Part of I feel like what I do with this class, it's an intro class, right? So this is like that's what I mean. Like intro classes are kind of a feeder class. There are three intro classes being taught, but out of those three, we only get like one class that continues on to the next level, right? So they've it off 2/3 kind of break off and do something else, but that's to be expected. That's an intro class. People introduce the concept, introduce the idea. Um, so in essence, I want to be a cheerleader for them. I want to make them excited about their own work because I, as a grizzled old man, am not terribly excited all about my work. I love my work. I love what I do, but do I have the joy of filmmaking at this point in my life? Not really. it is slog. I have to slog through it. It's work, but I love it. But it's right now, to be totally honest, sometimes it's an absolute slog to get through. But I do love it. But it is a slog. It's not like if I were to work, I would love to work on something like Wicked. that would be what I wanted to work on. But what I got to do is sort of slog. So I don't want to make them feel that way about video production. I want them to be excited. I want them to have joy in doing it, and that's what I want to do in the first class. The cinematography course, on the other hand, now we're going to start moving the chaff from the wheat here. Now we're going to start pushing you to every week, whether you like it or not. Boom, make another one. Boom, make another one. Boom, make another one. No excuses. Make it short. I don't care. Shoot it. So I think what I'll do, on top of perhaps so right now I have them do a weekly viewing assignment. So that they have to watch something, write a 100 word paragraph saying like what they learned from watching this movie musical, or I told them they can watch a movie, TV show, YouTube video, even an advertisement, or TikTok video. I don't care. Whatever you saw that week, write down what you noticed about it and how you want to apply it to your work. I'm thinking about doing that as well for a cinematography class, but maybe instead of maybe instead of that, I want them to do a image of the week. I'm still kind of like I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. Like, do I want them to shoot an image, or maybe what I should have them do is pick an image they see online that's really cool and select and write about that. That would might be kind of cool. Like we used to do on Filmmaker IQ a lot of celebrity photography, um, and uh, and that's where I learned a lot about how to light for portraits, and I learned a lot about like visuals, and I think that's how I became really decent at painting. Oh, I didn't show you my newest paintings. I'll have to show you to them. But anyhow, let's see. Yeah, left-hand puppetry is a funny idea. Offer your students extra credit for making Filmmaker IQ shorts. I should have them cut this up. Um, I should give them an extra credit assignment to write a scene. And my devious theory was I'm going to steal their scenes and make and produce them. Just kidding. But no, I did give them extra credit for see if they could write a scene using a screenplay formatting. That's a good idea. Filmmaking is a slog, especially when you are a skeleton crew. It is, but the thing is, like the content I'm doing is not exciting. It's very dry. So, and I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm just a little burned out. I'll be honest. I'm a little burned out. So I could use. I'm looking forward to a Christmas vacation where nobody will bother me. Hey, let me show you a couple of paintings. All right. So I've been really working on paintings a lot. So I decided because I'm filmmaker IQ that I should do celebrity portraits, but with a caveat. So I'll show you three paintings I just did recently. As you can see behind me, we've got ourselves some Kihan Kwan and Ana de Armas, which I might do another Ana de Armas because Ana de Armas is so freaking cute that I think she should be good. But I've been doing a lot of what called celebrity puns, and this is really a way to get around the copyright issue. So what I'll do is I'll take a character. So the rules are, you take a movie celebrity and you play with either their name or their our character, and 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 we'll and make a pun out of it. And that's what I'm doing. You see, it says, I mean, slog as in work intensive, not as in something unpleasant. I don't think what I do is unpleasant. I just think I just don't want to do it. And then I was going to make a joke about slog as an S log, as in Sony log, but never mind. It's too late for that. Okay, so let's do some of my paintings. So I'll go with my oldest one here, which I really like. This is called Reese Within a Spoon. So there you go. Reese Within a Spoon. Get it? Reese Within a Spoon. Yeah. All right. Very good. So that's my Reese Within a Spoon. Okay. All right. Next one. This is Ryan's Gosling. Ryan's Gosling. There we go. There's Ryan's Gosling. Yep. All right. Cool. So I like that one. That one came out pretty well because because for some reason I can paint men's faces better. Maybe because I don't care because I'm not gay. Stop saying I'm gay. No, just because I like musicals doesn't mean I'm gay. I like musicals where the chicks are singing at each other. Two hot chicks singing each other. That's why I like musicals. So men's faces to me are easy to paint because it's very angular. Like a male face can just go. You can just do stroke, 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 stroke. Angles, cool. We're done. That's why like male faces are easy to paint. They're easy. Women are tricky as hell. Tricky as hell. You want to see Nick in a cage? All right. I think the camera's gonna follow. I showed this one. I think I made this. I don't know if I showed this on stream yet. This is Nick Caged. So there's Nick Caged. Gave a copy of that to Claire, my friend Claire, who loves Nick Cage. So that's Nick Caged. Lovely, right? Oh, we're not done yet. Okay, this is the latest one I did, and I wanted to do an Amy Adams because I think Amy Adams is one of my favorite actresses. And I think she, like when she first came on, was so dang pretty. So I wanted to capture her in the movie Enchanted. So I did Giselle on a gazelle. There you go. Amy Adams, Giselle on a gazelle. All right. So that is my latest paintings. I think the next one might be Wednesday's Fat Tuesday, which I'll do Jenna Ortega at Mardi Gras. So that'll be an interesting combination. I've got some ideas. I'm thinking like maybe Brad Pitt, Brad in the Pits, where he's like just like looking sad and down. Brad in the Pits. I'm open to all things. I kind of want to make sure. I mean, I obviously want to make paintings that are of people that I like. So celebrities that I don't particularly like, I don't tend to want to paint. Lurching the hand. So a little bit about my process. I think I was having this discussion with one week. We talked about how AI, like how I use AI in this situation, how I use AI with this. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, the whole series of Elf on the Shelf puns. Did I show you? I showed you guys the Albie Bach and Doctor Strangelove, and then Katy Perry. Did I show you Katy Perry? Let me get Katy Perry. I'll be right back. Whoa, wait, sliding across the room. Whoops, sorry about that. All right, here we go. All right, so this is actually I think the first series of, this is the first painting I did, which is in my celebrity pun one. And this is Albie Bach. Kind of looks like a little more like Jason Statham than Arnold. But this is Albie Bach. Then I wanted to go big. I forget if this was the second one. So I did a larger one with Doctor Strange Love. And this is a Doctor Strange Love. There we go. Doctor Strange Love. And then this is the other one of my series, and I'm trying to keep building my series of paintings. This is Katy Perry. See, Katy Perry. Perry. P-A-R. Yes. Katy Perry. So the process, and I'll go ahead and just divulge it to you guys. When I did, so what happened was I went to my painting class. I started taking painting after I had a breakup, and I wanted to get back out there. I wanted to be around people, and I thought maybe I could meet somebody in an art class, right? And so I started going to this painting class, and I liked it, but it was fun, But then then there was one day I showed up, and they said, and I was the only person there, and they said, "Hey, I don't have well, you're the only person here. What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I've always wanted to paint celebrity portraits. Like I always wanted to do like a Drew Struzan, those Drew Struzan posters, like Goonies and all that stuff. I've always wanted to do that." So he's like, "Okay, let's start by doing it." So he showed me this technique of using carbon paper to do a transfer from a printout, and it's like, "Oh, you mean you're allowed to basically do a carbon transfer, it's like tracing?" He's like, "Yeah, of course you are." And I'm like, "Oh, well, if you can do that, I've got more equipment. I've got projectors. I can project an image onto a canvas, and then trace them on the canvas, and then fill them in with paint." paint over the sketches. And so I started doing that. And so for anybody that tells you, and I had this argument with somebody online, say, well, that's not real art. That's not real art. Okay. What I do is I'll take Photoshop and I will take the celebrity image that I want to do. Then I will find either stock photos or I will AI something that will put them in place. So something like this. Okay, so for example, this is Katy Perry. Katy Perry, to be perfectly blunt, I'm not in love with how close I got to her appearance, but it still gives you the vibe of Katy Perry, and that's fine for me. So her face is from the music video, from the California Girls music video. The body is actually from an AI trying to find a parrying stance. So it's all blended together between the Photoshop of the celebrity image and the AI. Again, sometimes I find a stock photo. So like the Nick Cage is a stock photo. So everything except for his face is stock photo reference, that is, and then his face is Nick Cage, obviously, from the movie. I want to say the movie with the bees. That's the bees are the one I used for that one. So project that onto a canvas. Now, if you think that's cheating, go ahead and try to paint over a sketch on a canvas. And if you have no experience painting, you will not materialize. The sketch is basically there to kind of put things in the right position, right? Wicker Man, thank you. Wicker Man, Rabbit Cage. The sketch is sort of put things in the right proportion, kind of. But then when you start painting over it, you lose all the lines, and then you have to figure out how to like create the proportions and create the dimension and create all that stuff. So there's a lot that happens between a sketch and an actual painting. Like it took me, there's at least like 5 different layers on Nick Cage because I was not happy with the way Nick Cage came out for the longest time. Now I'm okay with it. I mean, it's like, look, I'm not Drew Struzan. I'm not quite there yet. Look, I just started painting in July. Give me a break. So, every painting I'm getting a little bit better, and I love it. It's such a. I'll put on a podcast and I'll just paint for 3 hours, and I'll just sit there and paint, and it's so relaxing and so cool and fun. Like one of my favorite podcasts to listen to is actually Kill Tony. I listen to Kill Tony for, because his podcast is about 2 hours. So if I sit through an entire podcast and I'm done painting, that's a good painting session. 2 hours. Oh, B. Arthur. Thank you. B. Arthur. That needs to be on the list. I like B. Arthur. B. Arthur. Oh my God. That would be pretty good. Man, I had another one that I wanted to do. It wasn't. Oh yeah, it was Scarlett Johansson, but it was like Black Widow. But it was Scarlett Johansson and just wearing a Black Widow, old-fashioned Black Widow concept. Nick Cage is competing Bruce Willis to a movie count. Well, yeah, Bruce Willis had to make those movies because I don't think he can talk anymore. Oh no, B. Arthur being there. Oh my God. B. Arthur in a suit, like walking on a lake. Being there, Arthur. Wow, that's one that no one will get. So, but people in my art class, so I take these in my art class now. I go to the art class. Other people are doing the projects, and I just paint my own projects because they say, this art class it's an adult painting class. Do whatever you want. Come, you can do the project that we're going to teach, or if you just want to bring something and paint and hang out with us, it's like I pay $25 to go hang out with other people and paint. Okay, why not? It's better than being by myself at home. So, but yeah, no. The other people in the class get a kick out of the puns I come up with, and it's fun. I sometimes feel like a little bit like I'm trying to show off because my abilities to paint these are better than a lot of the people there. But hey, it gives them some inspiration, see what I'm doing, and I have fun. So I gotta put all these back now. Dang it, you guys got me all excited here. I gotta varnish these couple here. I did this. I did the gazelle in about about an hour at the paint class. So Amy Adams took about Amy Adams took about I want to say about 5 hours to paint her, and I was really happy with the way the little, well, come on, camera, calm down there. I was really happy with the frilly dress came out. I think that came out really good, and the gazelle's pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Anyhow, but this is the last one I made was the gazelle. I need to varnish her. I need to varnish her and I need to varnish the Witherspoon and the Ryan Gosling. I do really enjoy the way the texture on Reese Witherspoon. I think it's probably the closest likeness I've come on my paintings is the Reese Witherspoon without her spoon. Anyhow, but yeah, you like the I think it was earlier we were saying the bokeh on the learning to paint bokeh was very tricky. I mean, it took me a couple different attempts to try to get bokeh working. It's a difficult, like painting backgrounds. I tend to try to. Well, my camera's just gone crazy. I can't decide who to focus on. Painting backgrounds, my God, calm down, camera. Painting backgrounds is sort of like a second nature thought because I'm so focused on getting the face right. But the bokeh is very tricky to paint. You know, I watched parts of Tim's Vermeer. Have you guys ever seen that movie, Tim's Vermeer? It's a documentary by the Penn and Teller guys, and it follows this one software engineer that developed this program called Lightwave, one of the early 3D programs, 3D software, and he discovered a technique for painting that uses like mirrors and lenses and stuff like that. And so he could literally look at his work and do a side by side to the actual thing. He could look through this little split mirror and he could paint exactly what he saw reflected from the scene. And he just his whole theory was that Vermeer use this technique to paint extremely accurate, like almost photographically real elements. And one of the things that you would paint that was photographic was things like blur. Like blur is not like most painters didn't paint blur if they just painted from their eye because the eye doesn't really see blur the same way a camera does. So some of the theory was that the reason a lot of the things he created the blurs felt like they were using some sort of camera. Again, this is not like cheating. I think a lot of people will say that's cheating, John. You know tracing is cheating or that kind of thing. No, there's so much more to it than just it's not copying. There's anyhow. There's a lot to do with it. Anyhow, do Jerry Seinfeld and have it in a sign in a feld. That's not bad. Jerry sign in a field. Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld. Like Jerry Seinfeld standing there and like going looking sad because his sign fell over. Jerry sign fell. Jerry's sign fell. Oh my God, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You can make something good out of my bad English. Hey, bad English. My mom never learned how to read or write English, and so she spoke very broken English for her entire life. So I'm very used to just bad English. Technical questions. Do digital cameras have a shutter or is CCD chip just constantly exposed? CCD itself, yes, is constantly exposed generally. But basically with a CCD though, because that's a charge coupled device, what happens is there might be electronic shutter, which is basically like it's basically a little what do you call them? Well, there are a couple different kinds of electronic shutters. Well, there is kind of electronic shutter where it's like a Polaroid that you can electrify and it turns on and off. But I think what happens with a electronic shutter is basically it's charged for only a certain amount of time. So in order for a sensor to work, you have to actually put power into it. So, but the thing is, if you like only put power in for a little bit and then you stop it and then you freeze the electrons in there, I think you can move them off of the sensor. But the question is, do they have a shutter? like not a mechanical shutter, no, but they will have like an electronic shutter in that sense. Huge jacked man. That's not bad. I like Hugh Jackman. Huge jacked man. Huge jacked man. Hugh jacked man. Man jacked Hugh. Hugh and his jack. I have to, what to think about how to get that. Like we see a picture of Hugh Jackman like jacking up a car. That might be funny. Celebrity puns. And I want to do women that I think are very attractive. So I did do a as I was trying to do a Scarlett Johansson because I've never done a Johansson. I was thinking of doing Scarlett or scarred up Johansson, but I thought that might be in bad taste. I don't want to see her like scarred up Johansson. Um, yeah, no, they're out there. We just got to figure out what they all are, right? You know, the obvious ones like Tom in a car cruising. Um, and the more weird and funny, the better. Did Norman Rockwell paint from photographs? I don't know. He might have. But Norman Rockwell, I've been following some stuff on Facebook. Some people have been posting Norman Rockwell's. Good God, Norman Rockwell is so talented. Like maybe people like gotten used to the fact that Norman Rockwell existed, but like if you look at those paintings, and I mean, yeah, they're very like corny, right? They got this corniness to them, Americana corny, but my God, are they beautiful? Like they are stunning, and he can draw like he has a amazing ability to capture. Let's be generous and call them like how can I call it like average faces. Like his faces are so full of character, and oh my God, I'm just gushing over Norman Rockwell. Like I think he's underappreciated. I mean, God, Norman Rockwell is such a I don't know. One time, my art teacher, one of the projects that, which is I'm glad I was not painting this project, but his project was the 6 squares or 6 circles. I was here to find a picture of it. 6 circles. Circles art. 6 circles modern art. Trying to find this one famous painting, and I've seen it before. Now I like Mandra brought like the not Mandra brought what do they call them, the abstract painting with the squares and circles. I kind of dig that. Like I don't love it, but I get that, right? You know those paintings I'm talking about. Like hold on, let me see if I can find them. 6 circles modern art piece. Let's see if we can find this image that I'm thinking of. Paintings. There it is. It's a Kandinsky, right? I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Let's create.
Oh, concentric circles. Let me see if I can show you that image. Kandinsky. Kandinsky circles. There it is. Sorry about this. I know it's exciting to watch here. So here's what I'm talking about. Okay, you see that painting there? This one right here. You're like the art class was to make these, and I honestly hated that idea. Like I'm like no, I hate this. I know. I'm sorry. I hate this. I hate this painting. Now, I don't know. Maybe it'd be different if I saw it in person. And because I understand the real one is pretty big. Well, it's watercolor, gouache, and crayon on paper. I just hate it. I fucking hate it. I'm sorry. Nothing about this is something I like. I just don't like that kind of painting. Now, if you were to tell me, John, let's do this painting, all right, I'm down. This is cool. I like that. All right. I like form. I like, or even this is cooler. I prefer that. This I kind of dig in a flesh, certain style, right? You know, I'm just looking at this. I love. This is cool. I'd do that in a heartbeat. That's cool. I just hate this. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Because to me, this doesn't say anything. Or doesn't. It just feels lazy. This feels. This just feel. This is another Kandinsky. This feels clever and interesting, and I can stare at it for a while because it's a mix of everything. So I like that Kandinsky. I just hate the other one. I hate this. Anyhow, let's see what your comments are. I just hate the circles. And the class was like, we're going to do these condensing circles. I'm like, God, thank God I'm not doing this because I hate this. I hate the circles. I hate them. And when I was in school, we had Norman Rockwell paintings hanging up. I think I think the thing is Norman Rockwell is so iconic that everyone's kind of sick and tired of it. But if you just stop and look at those Norman Rockwells, they are amazing. They are so amazing. Saturday Evening Post, absolutely. Yeah, that's what he worked on. Every week he'd have another one, right? Oh my God! I finally see the images in those funky 3D photos that look like nothing. They're amazing. It looks like a Paul Klee. The colors are neat, but not my cup of tea. Yeah, the circles suck. But I like some of the other Kandinsky stuff. So anyhow, I think I got a little more time. We can hang out for a little bit more because I gotta get that chicken on the smoker if I want to be able to make a 6 o'clock screening tonight. But yeah, I mean, I like some of other Kandinsky's other work. Like I really like other stuff. I just hate the circles. God, I hate those circles. Like here's an example. Here's another one. This is really cool. I like that. Part of it is I just I don't like paintings that don't look like there any work was put into them. I like paintings that look like there's a lot of work put into them because I like to see the detail. I like to see work. And the circles just looks like literally kindergartner put it together, and I don't like that. I just don't like that. Whereas something like this is seriously like it's just there's dimension, there's it looks it's cool. It's some thought. The circles just is like we're just gonna make some circles today. How was the pork? It was excellent. That pulled pork was really good. I'm so happy with that. How that came out. I took it to the party. People enjoyed it, and I had it for like 2 weeks, and it was oh my! I froze some because I didn't think I'd eat all of it, but then within like 3 days I unfroze it and ate it because it was so good. Tonight is chicken and Netflix season 2 of Wednesday. All right, I think I want to do Wednesday's Fat Tuesday. That's going to be my painting. So I'm going to look at Jenna Ortega. I like Jenna Ortega a lot. So I want to do paintings of people I like, and Jenna Ortega is definitely on that list. Most modern art looks like kindergarten. Yeah, I know, and I don't have the heart to tell people that your art sucks. It just does. It's like the bubble stage. Oh yeah, bubble. It's architectural. Yeah, that painting. Yeah, it's very architectural. Just lines, circles, geometry, color. I mean, that's fun, but fucking circles. I hate it. I hate it. And I get why you would teach it as a class. Okay, because you have people that don't know how to paint. Oh, they can then talk about, oh, we're going to do a modern art Kandinsky. But it sucks. Sucks. No, Frank Lloyd Wright's also. I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright paint houses are really brilliant, right? Like what, Falling Water. Yeah, of course, but it's not circles. It's not like not even good circles. That's what I hate about the circles thing, right? The circles thing is just like lazy looking circles. Like, dude, at least use a compass. These are shitty circles. They're just total shit circles. They're awful. Ugh, what an ugly thing. God. Give me pop art. Give me something better than that. Anyhow, that's me complaining. How's your day going? Going well? Uh, he did the Johnson and Johnson building. Frank Lloyd Wright. I like that one, Gamble House. You know the Gamble House. I've actually never been inside the Gamble House. It's not Frank Lloyd Wright. It is Henry Mather Green and Charles Sumner Green. But I'd love to go check out the Gamble House in Pasadena. It is the Doc Brown's house. If you remember the uh, the movie Back to the Future, it's Doc Brown's house. Is it right? And I actually drove by it. It got outside and stood out and took a look at it. So here's the video. Here's the website for it. The Gamble House. There's Doc Brown's house. I mean, it's American Craftsman, so it's very similar to a Frank Lloyd Wright. Oh my gosh! Oh my! Look at that! It's just freaking beautiful. Ugh. Anyhow, my house is not that beautiful. My house is a mess because I'm kind of halfway in moving into my studio. So half of it's here and half of it's there. Green and green. There it is. Yeah, the Gamble House. Go see the House on Rock in Wisconsin. That's a great place. Oh, cool. I just haven't been to Wisconsin ever. I want to see the movie called Too Many Beavers, I believe it. Too Many Beavers. I think it was. Um, I think it was. What's his name on here that suggested it? Hundreds of Beavers. That's what it was. Hundreds of Beavers. It was suggested by the guy that has the Doctor Strangelove uh, uh, character profile image. But I want to see that movie. Hundreds of Beavers. Hey, Matthias. I haven't seen you on here. As Brazilian, I recommend you watch the new Brazilian film called Still Here about a family whose father disappears due to military dictatorship in Brazil in the 1970s. He was killed. All right, Still Here. Add that to the list of movies that we should check out. Maybe on this holiday. Usually I on Christmas and or the holidays I end up just watching marathons of movies. Although I'll be honest, so last I want to say New Year's or Christmas or something in there, I was making myself some really nice dinner, but I ended up watching 5 movies, and I was not feeling great because I was sad and honestly, and I tried to I took a little too many edibles. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I took some edibles and I thought, what the hell, take another one, and oh boy, that was bad, and so. So I got in a relationship in the following year, and then she was very anti-drugs. No, no more edibles, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it up. Yeah, like it was such a bad trip that I was like, you know what? I don't need this in my life. I don't need this in my life. But that day I did watch 5 movies in a row. Like that was amazing. Anyhow, the Beaver movie is funny. It's an old Bugs Bunny cartoon, really funny. Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm Still Here won Best Screenplay at the Venice Film Festival and the Brazil's choice for Oscar Best Foreign. It's also a major box office. Cool. No, I'm not a big horror fan, but Terrifier. I've seen how well the Terrifier series is done without studio backing or MPA rating. New era of indie horror. I think so. I've only person I know that talked about the Terrifier was actually a girl that I was met on an online dating site. So, um, I don't know anything about Terrifier, frankly. Uh, all It reminds me of my apartment in China, the elevators. Oh, being dizzy. Ugh, I'll tell you that. All right, it is about 4:30. I'm going to hang out for about a few more minutes, and I got to get going and start smoking my chicken, put my paintings back on the wall where they belong. I hope she can get a nomination for Best Lead Actress like her mother, Fernando Montenegro, an legendary actress here, did for Central Station. Oh yes, a friend of mine just texted me. So I did build out a greenhouse in my backyard. So I'm going to be growing stuff in my greenhouse sooner or later. I'm going to show you a little bit of my greenhouse. Can I do that? It's on my Facebook image. All right. My friends is talking about a city issue. My God. Oh, they found an error. All right, cool. All right, here is the. Oh, did I not put it up there? Here's a shot of my bunny. My bunny was out there with me today while I was working on the greenhouse. It's probably in my phone. Phone link. Zappa would say horror isn't dead. It just smells funny. There you go. So today I basically cleared out all the years of leaves that have been collecting underneath my trees. So I finally did that. That's what I did today. Maximize that. And then I did, I put these shelves up for my greenhouse. And so I'll be putting some strawberry plants in there, and I'll probably put some tomato plants at the bottom there in pots. So that's what I did today. And I came here and I streamed to talk to you guys about Wicked. Wicked. Dun. Wicked. No one mourns the wicked. Have I seen the latest video on why no one knows what the film directors do? He's too dogmatic, oversimplified. He is too dogmatic and oversimplifies stuff, but I bet you still love his takedown on auteur theory. I'll have to check that out. Oh, I had one comment. I'm going to read you the comment, and then I'm going to get the heck out of here. That really pissed me. That didn't piss me off because I don't get pissed off anymore. It's really weird. I love this is what I mean. Like people are just too dogmatic about stuff, right? Because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry to cuss there. I know I shouldn't be cussing on these things. I should live a good, wholesome life, right? So where's my comments? There it is. Did he go away? Oh wait, maybe I didn't. I know I'm in the minority, but I hate directors who don't write. I'm a filmmaker and a true filmmaker. Directors who fail to write are lesser filmmakers, and a filmmaker must be a director and a writer. Directing is not writing a movie. Directing and not writing a movie is dishonest. You claim a movie as your own, but you're stealing someone else's story. Very few directors would ever be deemed auteurs by most people anyway. What I find annoying is that some video makers credit directors when citing movies in their videos, particularly documentaries, even from what you might call lesser filmmakers. I don't even need to go on. It just goes on forever. It just goes on forever. Oh God, this is. Whatever. You click on these. The thing is, you click on these guys' channels, and what do they have on their channels? Garbage. Oh my God. I mean, here's one video called "Child Nudity is Not Child Pornography." Really? Really? We're gonna go in there. This is the kind of mind that says, oh my God, never mind. These people are. He has a video called "Male Friendship is Gay by Nature." All right, very good. Oh God, I want to watch The Substance. I missed that one, man. I should have saw. I wanted to see that. It has one-page dialogues. I wanted to see that. The video includes clips of Orson Welles saying that directing is the most overrated job in the world and only one where you can be truly and utterly incompetent for 30 years and successful. I mean, maybe. I mean, that might be true. I guess it all depends on who you surround yourself with, right? Hitchcock didn't write. I know. So many. Spielberg doesn't write. Scorsese doesn't write. And I mentioned this, and he's like, "Oh, they're not real filmmakers. They're not real filmmakers." Okay. Well, says the guy that says child nudity is not pornographic. He just wants people to have child nudity. Oh my God. Not even gonna show you. Thanks for getting on here. You've taught me a lot about filmmaking throughout the years. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad we can hang out for a little bit. Okay, well, I'm going to respond back to one comment because he's like, my 20,000 frames per second. He's like, well, I disagree with your video and the story. Well, okay, you're wrong. Should we say that? I disagree with your video and the story. Like, okay, but you're wrong. End of story. There you go. As I love it when they like argue. It's like I literally put out a whole video about 20,000 frames a second. So it's a weird thing. So okay, so this 20,000. Here's a comment. I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm going to get going. If cameras have super sensitive sensors to shoot at 20,000 to say 100,000 frames or shutter speed to capture objects with no motion blur or very minimal blur, frame rate is less important. Maybe in the future, when data crunching is no longer an object, video will be recorded in a whole different way. Maybe each pixel will have its own video signal. In the case, the frame rate will be tied to frequency or sampling rate of each individual pixel signal. So the thing is, though, like if you could record images with no motion blur, frame rate still matters. In fact, frame rate becomes more important if you don't have motion blur. Like motion blur allows us to have lower frame rate. Unless we're tracking something with an eye, and then in that case, then you don't want motion blur. But so in discussing with the guys, the chief blur buster at Blurbusters, like he kind of like gave me the golden seal on the video because I consulted with him on the video, and this guy is like saying, well, if you don't have blur in a video, then frame rate doesn't matter. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? And I wrote him, I was like, well, you missed the point of the video. The blur bus, we already capture things with no blur. You don't need 20,000 shutter speed. We already have that. You need the frame rate. You need the high frame rate in order to compensate for the motion blur. And then he thumbs back. I did not miss anything. I was just reinforcing the idea that higher frame rate don't mean anything for a human eye. Well, like, no, higher frame rates do mean something for the human eye because it's a maximum of, say, 20,000 frames per second. Then he goes, you're being rude to me. You don't have to be rude. I'm like, dude, you're making a comment which is like antithetical to like the actual video and the title of the thumbnail. The answer's in the thumbnail. 24 over 60 or 120 every day? Absolutely. Amen. Unless you're playing a video game. Don't play video games at 24 frames a second. They suck at 24. But movies? Absolutely. Every day, all day, night. All right, so I'm going to leave it with that. Here, let's read a couple of these. Wells says the job of a director is to bring something extra to the table, not to do more than what will happen automatically. Movie-wise argues that people praise the director for a screenplay. Hitchcock wasn't credited as a writer, but he still worked very closely with the writer in every film. Coppola once said that he's a director, shouldn't be considered a writer too. It's funny how Hitchcock's original idea for the crop duster scene was that it would be a tornado, but the writer Ernst and Lyman said Hitchcock how would villains create a tornado. Hitchcock didn't know and abandoned the idea. Have you ever seen the Corridor Crew where they do sodium vapor process? Interesting. No, I haven't seen that one, but they should. Yeah, like people just don't have any idea how movies are made. That's the problem. Like people get these asinine ideas about like how you have to be a writer in order to be not only if you're a writer are you an actual filmmaker. Like they don't really understand how this stuff works. They just don't have any clue. What do you want to do? Whatever. And let him go and have his theories about what is and isn't child pornography. Let's let him do his thing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't bother me. Well, the child, the CP does, but not what he thinks about what a director in a story is. Anyhow, that's a weird note to end it on. Such a weird thing to say. Let's just leave it. Let's leave it on a positive note, and that is 24 frames per second. 24 frames per second. The real frame rate, the best frame rate. Don't accept any less or more than 24. Oh, that's a great way to end it. All right, guys. I'm going to go get my paintings back on the wall and smoke some chicken thighs. So we will talk to you guys later. Bye bye now. And fade to black.